Hello, dear Godly community and new friends. My name is Amir Glogau, and I am the founder and CEO of Godly, and I welcome you all here. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited today. Really, this is, I have the privilege of hosting different people here, but this is my special place in the heart. Gabby has become a friend very quickly. We must have known each other in some previous times, and I'll introduce Gabby in a second. I want to let people trickle in as they come in. If you want to drop in the chat, where are you from? And maybe one word for what's happy days for you. So just a quick, whatever comes to you in one word, what is happy day for you? And hello, we have a few Godly guides here. Dear friends, really excited to have everybody. So wonderful to see also some community members that we haven't seen in a long time and missed. Hi, Larry. So without further ado, I want to start with introducing our guest tonight, Gabby. And Gabby, if it's okay with you, I want to introduce you actually with the words from your masterpiece, Happy Days. I really feel that it's profound wisdom with practical tools. I feel like I read paragraphs here that can be very easy and digestible, and at the same time so deep and profound and meaningful. So you describe yourself in the introduction to the book that you're now, you say here 42, but if I know correctly, happy birthday.
43. Yes,
43.
thank you.
Happy birthday. And you describe yourself as a woman who surrendered to a spiritual path of recovery. Author, spiritual teacher, vulnerable on stage, speaking her truth to feel released from the past. You can see the brave woman who fearlessly showed up for herself in the pursuit of inner peace and freedom. I can see my journey to becoming new. This journey of unlearning fear and remembering love. I have goosebumps when I read this. I don't know about other people. And I've witnessed you in person, and I know that you live those words. You show up that way. So congratulations to you. What is your prescription?
We're here tonight to talk about my prescription. I love that that was the question you asked me to start. I'll begin first by just saying how much I adore you, Amir. And I believe that what you and your team are creating here is a necessity right now. The world is in crisis and we need help. So it's no small thing to be creating a solution for people. And so I want you and your team to just take that in completely. And for anyone that's here, you're in the right place, everybody. You're in the right place. And I get chills as well when I hear you read that passage, because I can think back to how I lived so differently, not that many years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, living with chronic illness, chronic gastrointestinal issues, chronic stress, chronic anxiety, all the while running a big business and leading people throughout the world and writing book after book after book. But I was suffering and struggling. And so much of what I was struggling from, I didn't even know about for most of my life. Because what I learned and what I teach and what I share about in Happy Days is that while I got sober at 25 years old and I had really surrendered fully and completely to my spiritual path, I consistently was plagued with this extreme anxiety, extreme fear, lots of chaotic patterns, lots of parts of myself that were very extreme and scary. And it was only about a decade into my sober recovery that I actually learned why I was living that way, that I actually learned why I had chosen a drug addiction path, that I actually learned why I'd become a workaholic and a love addict and a food addict and a drug addict and an alcoholic. I never understood why until I was 36 years old. in a dream, I remembered a traumatic event from my childhood. Then I woke up from that dream and just did not want to, in any way, shape, or form, accept it. And a few days later in my therapy, I fully accepted that memory. And what I came to realize that day was, one, that this memory was indeed true and that I had been dissociated from that experience from a very young age. So probably 3 decades of dissociation and literally leaving my memory behind. But that two, I had an option. I had 2 choices. I could stay stuck in that fear and push it down, not let that fear, that terror, that trauma in any way come to the surface and spend my life trying really hard to manage it, protect myself from it, and push it down. Or I could crack open to the possibility of what true healing could look like. My commitment to true healing is why I was able to write this book, Happy Days. It's why Amir, who's only a new friend of mine, can say to an audience of people all throughout the world that he does feel that truth in my words and that he can feel connected to me in that brief connection that we've had. Because undoing the trauma from my past is my greatest accomplishment. I continue to work on it, although today I do believe and feel and know I have established a sense of freedom and a baseline of safety that I never thought was possible, but I was going to do whatever it took to get here. So tonight, what I want to talk about is some of the ways that our nervous system responds to unresolved trauma, whether it be trauma with a big T or trauma with a small t. Maybe you haven't even identified it as trauma, but you just are living with chronic anxiety. And I think in the chat, you might want to just raise your hand and just let us know, how many of you experience anxiety more than 5 times a week? And let's see, we've got people raising their hands. Yes, 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 yes. I'm seeing people say every day, me, yes. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people raise their hands saying yes, 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 yes. Oh yeah, I experience anxiety all the time. I wake up with it. There we go. So while this is a whole book on the guided path from trauma to profound freedom and inner peace, tonight I want to talk about anxiety. Because when we have unresolved experiences from our childhood, which we all do, we have a disruption to our nervous system. We have a disconnect from our physical body in many cases. So there's practices that, while the book goes deep into methods and therapeutic practices that I strongly recommend, there are also practices that we can apply right here, right now, to have a very quick shift, to experience the grace of what it means to let your nervous system support you, to have the tools to get yourself out of the extreme state of chronic stress and anxiety. And in the moment, allow yourself to get grounded in a more centered and relaxed way. This is by no means the addressing of the root cause condition, which I believe is necessary and can come through books like Happy Days or therapeutic support or people in therapy that you can find in Guidely. But what I do believe is that these methods can start to help you regulate your own energy and your nervous system so that you can feel more steady as you do the deeper work. And so that's my intention tonight, is to give you some of the methods that have been my first responders when I've suffered and struggled with extreme anxiety, the experience of PTSD, going through very, very life-threatening anxiety with postpartum anxiety and depression. And so I know that these methods work. I've lived them. and I'm so privileged to be able to share them with you right now. So my cats are hanging out with us. I left the door open so that they could hang out, but cats at 8 o'clock at night like to get crazy. So the first thing I want to acknowledge is that we need to start by honoring our anxiety. And so I want you to just take a moment to close your eyes and just notice what you notice inside your body. And let's check in with the anxiety. From a scale of 0 to 10, where is it right now? 10 being the highest. Just notice what you notice on the inside. Does it have a color or a shape? Does it have a image that comes along with it? Any words that come with it? Become more and more curious. Where does it live in your body? Is it tight? Does it strangle you? Is it in your stomach? What do you know about it? How long has it been around? What else do you know about it? Does it have anything it wants you to know? And now just take a moment to check in more completely to the space in your body where that anxiety lives. And just, if it's possible, extend a little bit of connection to that part of you, that anxious part of you. It's not who you are, it's a part of who you are. And just let that part of you know that tonight you're wanting to become a little bit more curious about it. You want to honor it and respect it. And just let it know that you're going to be a little curious tonight with a lot of love and compassion and connection. We're going to just become curious, offering a lot of calm energy to the anxiety. Take a deep breath and breathe that in, the willingness to offer that calm energy to your anxiety now. And when you're ready, just take another deep breath and open your eyes with a little bit more connection to the anxiety, giving it the attention and the respect that it deserves. We so often want to just push it down and push past it, ignore it, fight against it. But just for the next hour, let's just spend a little time with it. Just give it a little bit of love, give it a little bit of connection. Because that part of us is working really hard to protect us from deeper feelings. And let's just, for tonight, give it a break. Let's just give it a break tonight. Which leads me into the next step, which is a really powerful step for grounding yourself in the moment, right here, right now, placing your hand on your heart and your other hand on your belly. This is a heart hold. And this hold is on its own miraculous because it can allow you to send that full body message of relaxation, safety, and connection to your body. So whatever hand you feel like you want to put on your heart, whether it's your right hand or your left hand, place that hand on your heart, and your other hand on your belly. Maybe you close your eyes again. In this heart hold, let's extend even more love to the anxiety, just letting it know that we have so much compassion for this anxiety tonight and that we're connecting to it. We're committed to connect to it. You can keep your hand in this heart hold if it feels really powerful for you. I think that it would be a nice thing to consistently do as I add on the next technique. And don't worry, I'll recap them all for you. And as you hold your heart, the next method is called a VU chant. And I love this practice because when we chant, we actually create vibrational resonance in our body. This chant sounds like this. Voo. And you would go all the way out. I'll give you the whole practice, but you would go all the way out to the full extended of the breath, the full extension of that breath. And what the VU chant does is actually sends this message to the vagus nerve that stimulates and supports your entire nervous system, that it just allows the vagus nerve to relax the entire nervous system. And so by stimulating the vagus nerve, your gut can relax, your body can relax, your energy starts to settle, and you can feel every muscle in your body start to relax and release. The VU chant is practiced like this. So you would take a deep breath in, and on the inhale, just let your diaphragm extend. So if you have that heart hold going and your hand is still on your belly, take a deep breath in and hold that breath for just one moment of pause. And on the exhale with me, let's all chant together a VU. Keep it going till the breath is complete, all the way out, that VU. When the breath is complete, hold that breath and pause for another moment. Now take another deep inhale in, extending your diaphragm, breathing in fully and completely. At the end of the inhale, just take one moment to pause. And then again, in that loop on the exhale, extend that. Pause one more time. And one more deep inhale in. And at the top of that inhale, let's take another pause. And on that exhale, let's do one last voo. Voo. Hold that pause. Take a deep breath in and let that breath go. Now let's check in with your anxiety for a moment. From a scale of 0 to 10, where are you now? Just post it in the chat. Let us know where you're at. I want to see what those numbers come. 0 to 10, 10 being the highest. Where are you at? We've done a heart hold. We've done a voo chant. We're at a 5. We're at a 4. We're at a 2. We're at a 1. We're at a 2. Excellent. 4, 2, 4. Lots of low numbers. 3. I didn't check in originally where you were at, but I imagine there was a lot of 10s and a lot of 9s. If you know where you were and where you are now, let me know. Where were you and where are you now? Were you a 10 and now a 2? Where were you and where are you now? 4 and yawning. 8 to 3. Nice. 8 to 4. 5 to 1. 7 to 4. 8 now 4. 8.5 to 4. 7 to 4. 8 to. Oh, somebody went up. That can happen. Sometimes when we even just bring attention to our anxiety, we can have it get activated. And let's just take a moment. Heart hold again. Just hold that heart hold and let's tap on the next lesson, which is a beautiful practice called emotional freedom technique, which is tapping on that anxiety. So for a few moments, let's do a round of tapping and take a note of where you are now. If you're at a 2, a 3, a 1, and we're going to get you as close to 0 as possible. Okay. So let's just take a moment to do some rounds of tapping. What tapping is we tap on these different energy meridians while we talk about the anxiety. And then we do some rounds around the anxiety, and then we bring in some positive rounds to empower us. And this is much like acupuncture and therapy in collaboration. And it's sending these beautiful messages to these different acupressure points while allowing your window of tolerance to expand so that you can release any attachment to anxiety or whatever the issue is that you're tapping on. So just follow me. We're going to tap on the karate chop point. We're going to do just a 1-minute tapping practice here. Noticing where your anxiety is, what number it's at right now. Take note. And we're going to tap. So just follow me. Tapping on that side of your hand on the karate chop point. Repeat after me out loud. Even though I have this anxiety, repeat after me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. 2 more times. Even though I have this anxiety, repeat that after me. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Keep repeating it all after me as I speak. Even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Tapping on the eyebrow now. I can already see my anxiety is going down. Repeat that after me. Side of the eye, repeat after me. I'm already feeling some relief. Tap under the eye. That feels really good for me. Under the nose. I feel a lot of hope that there's the possibility for relief. Tapping on your chin. And I welcome more relief. Tapping on your collarbone. There's a lot of tools I'm getting tonight. Under the arm. And even though I've got all this anxiety, continue to repeat after me, everybody. Top of the head, even though I have this anxiety. Eyebrow. I can take a deep breath right here, right now. Side of the eye. I can take a deep breath with Gabby right now. Under the eye. I can take a deep breath with Gabby right now. Under the nose. And I can welcome even more relief. Chin. I can feel my body tingling. Collarbone repeating after me. I can feel myself coming back into my body. Under the arm, just kind of where the bra line is, ladies and men, if you had a bra. Feel myself getting back into my body. On top of the head. I'm getting grounded in my body now. Take a deep breath in and let that go. And when you're ready, open up your awareness to your body now and your deep breath and check in now. Where are you? From a scale of 0, 10 to 0. We got some ones, a 3. Where were you to where are you now? Where were you to where you are now? It's nice to see all these low numbers, a 4 to a 2. Someone went up. Okay, that happens. I'll talk 3 to, I see 5 to 2, 6 to 4, 3 to 1, 9 to 2. Good. If anybody went up, I just acknowledge that there's the simplicity of just returning to these simple practices right here, right now. So if you felt soothing from the heart hold your heart. If the VU chanting was valuable for you, do it again. If you want to tap on your own, just tap on this point between your pinky finger and your ring finger. I kind of joke around that this is like the holy shit point. So when you're really anxious and there's a lot going on, just tap on that point and just say to yourself, I am safe. I am safe. It's between your ring finger and your pinky finger. And just tap, I am safe. I am safe. Now, I could keep teaching these methods all day, every day. But there's one thing that I have to instill is that I can give them to you. I can practice them with you right here, right now. But the real work happens when you take them with you and you take them home with you and you make them your practice. So I'll close with a final anxiety relief tool for children that also works for adults, but I want you to share it with your children. I heard a staggering, horrifying statistic today on NPR that 57%, that the child suicide rates and the child suicide attempts and emergency room visits have gone up 57%. And it's really scary. And I know that many people watching me have experienced this in their own life. I mean, just yesterday, I was talking to a friend whose daughter was threatening suicide. She's 6 years old. So as parents and caregivers and adults, we have to practice these methods and we have to share them. So we have to be that energy, that steadiness, and we have to share that energy with our loved ones, with our children. So here is a practice that I love, and it's very simple. You place your thumb to your pointer, then your thumb to your middle finger, then your thumb to your ring finger, and your thumb to your pinky finger. And you practice this method of a mantra and a mudra. Peace begins with me. Thumb to the pointer with peace. Thumb to the middle finger begins. Thumb to the ring finger with. Thumb to the pinky, me. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Practice that all day long. Offer these tools to your children. Please, 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 please share these methods with your friends, with your loved ones, with your enemies, with your children, with everybody you know. We need a lot of support right now. All these methods are taught inside Happy Days, and I have a lot of other free resources, and I just hope to support you in any way that I can and continue to support you in our conversation tonight as I get to chat with my friend Amir and hear from you and just engage and just hear what's up and see how these practices may have supported you. So who's feeling relaxed right now? Share with me in the chat. Some people are saying, absolutely. Who's feeling some relief from where you were during the day? Yes, yes, yes. I'm seeing me. Yeah, me very much. Very good. I am. That's my goal, guys. That's my intention. I'm relaxed. So relaxed. Yes. How gorgeous. I'm so excited to be here with you too, Joseph. Beautiful. All right. Well, let's chat with Amir now. My
This
little
is
kitty.
so amazing, so amazing, so profound, especially to start like that. I mean, I feel like it brought everybody together and regulated and calmed down. Me, at least, I was nervous to have this event with you, and I'm so excited. So I want to start with, you know, I introduced you based on what you wrote in the book, and I have so many words of my short experience, our experience here in Phoenix, and the first experience that I had after when we walked into the hotel, a lady approached you and said, "You don't know me, Gabby, but you saved my life." And I had chills in my entire body. And you also, in somewhere in the book, you talk about you had to come on your knees or on your knees. And I wonder, do we have to get to the bottom of the barrel to make a change in life, or is there another option?
No, I do believe that you know this, Amir. One of my favorite quotes is the Rumi quote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." And I do believe that when we face into our wounds or we have a bottom of some kind, it's often a great opportunity to crack open. But I would pray for people to have higher bottoms, to have those turning points be more graceful, to not have to be faced with addiction or faced with a condition or whatever might come through to be the reason for your change. If you're watching right now and you're just thinking like, is this it? Couldn't it be better? That's enough.
Right.
And so when we have those moments of it has to be better than this, that's a prayer. That's asking the universe for a miracle. So yes, no, we do not have to have the most radical bottom. Those of us who have those experiences in many ways can wake up even more rapidly because we've hit such a low that there's only one way up.
Right.
But I mean, truthfully, but I don't wish that upon anybody because that sucks. It's not comfortable. And so I think that these days we can minimize the discomfort and come out quicker with all the resources that we have now with companies like Guidely, with having access to this material. This is new to this generation, to the new generations, and to even my generation. My parents didn't grow up with this kind of easy access to personal development. No way. My mom was in an ashram trying to find it. Not a lot of other people's parents were doing that either. So,
Oh no! When I went to an ashram, my parents thought that they lost their boy. They wrote me off. So one of the things that you do so beautifully and so incredibly is that you really, I think you started your journey more on the spiritual side and got into therapy, and you're on this, on the verge of, some traditional therapy. I know you're big on IFS. I would love to hear a little bit more about it, and I'm also letting our guests here know that you'll do some work with individuals here in a little bit. So get ready with your questions and what do you want to work on. But how did you find out the resources you have? How do you know, like, what do we know in a given moment? What works for me? What is the right way? And also like the sound, the voice in my head sometimes, how do I know that it's the capital S self or another voice on the boardroom? So I know I'm asking more than one question, but I want to incorporate those because I feel you integrate all the different components so beautifully.
So the first question is, how do you know what path to go on therapeutically or in any form? Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's actually why I wrote Happy Days, because I figured it out for you. I I really made the commitment to go there, to show up, to do whatever it took to get closer to freedom. I actually remember having a conversation with Deepak Chopra. I was speaking at one of his events. It was shortly after I'd remembered my trauma. And he and I were in his office, and I was kind of in tears. And I was like, I'm really struggling. I've been doing this spiritual practice and that type of yoga and this type of thing. And I'm taking this kind of therapy, and I'm really wanting to move through this trauma. I said, is it okay that I'm doing all these different things at one time? And he said to me in his beautiful accent, he said, do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. And I'll never forget that, because his words really reiterated my way of living. Do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes. So if you have the bravery and the courage and the willingness to go there, to do whatever it takes, reading a book like Happy Days, I believe, will give you the path. It'll show you, oh, okay, I'm going through this. Maybe I need somatic experiencing therapy, or I really resonated when she talked about internal family systems therapy, or I want to do more body-based work, or EMDR is speaking to me. And so I could sit here and tell you the whole journey that I went on, but I actually wrote it in the book. And that journey of adding on one therapeutic practice after the next was a spiritual journey, because spirit was guiding me throughout the entire process. Once I would crack open more, I would peel back the next layer of the onion with the next practice and the next practice. And I believe that I wasn't guided to these practices until I was ready to receive them. So I also know that God gifted me this experience of remembering a childhood experience that was so traumatizing, and all of the suffering in my life has been a gift that I've received as an opportunity to undo the fear and remember the love, as you shared in the beginning of the passage, and live to tell. I knew that when I remembered the trauma that I was going to have to write a book about it. I knew I didn't have to. I knew I wanted to, but I would not write that book until I was on the other side. And here we are.
Isn't
So
that
to answer the question, I hate to be that person, but read the book, because it'll show you, it'll give you the guided path, and it will tell you
I,
all the different results.
I will say here more than you will. Read the book. This is a must-read book, because we had Gabor Mate here a couple months ago, I think,
Mhm.
and read a book. But
Read that book.
read that book. But this
Read
one,
his
I'm
book.
telling you, this is incredible, because it resonates on a deeper level. It provides practical tools that really, it's like a manual that we should have all in our handy and every day. So, you talked about the switch from fear to love, which is really Marianne Williamson, our dear friend, who we also had here a while back. Um, isn't that her definition for a miracle, or
Yeah.
maybe Course in Miracle, for when we switch mindset from fear to love?
Yeah. So according to A Course in Miracles, which is what Marianne has so beautifully translated for us for so many years,
Mm-hmm.
the Course teaches that the definition of a miracle is to shift your perception from fear to love. So tonight we might have experienced quite a few miracles as we started to shift our anxiety. As we started to befriend our anxieties, we started to have compassion towards that anxiety. I think we experienced a lot of miracles here tonight as a community.
So we do, and I experienced that in your presence. I mean, when we shared our time here, it was like watching you live that is really profound. So one of the chapters in your book is about shame, actually.
Mm.
I think it's called Speaking the Unspeakable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a big topic that Brené Brown obviously went from her TED talk about first vulnerability, then shame, went ballistic, viral, and I think it's such a charged topic, and I don't know that anybody doesn't have a little bit of shame somewhere built in. And I would love for you, if you are willing to share a little bit more how you look at it, what are the tools, how to best deal with it, because we live in a society where I think part of the challenge of youth is really dealing with shame. Whatever it is that they're trying to hide or feel uncomfortable about, it becomes shame very quickly.
Well, shame is a biological response that's necessary in order to keep us alive. So when when we're children and our parent turns their back on us and walks away, the extreme fear and the need to attach is a feeling of shame that's actually a healthy shame. It's saying, I need you. It's when that attachment is not fully established and it's not cared for that the shame becomes extreme. So shame often originates in our attachment wounds to our parents, whether the parent was not always available to us and sometimes there, sometimes not, so inconsistent. That can create a lot of an anxious attachment style, which is definitely the shame response of without you, I'm inadequate. Without that love, I'm inadequate. And then there's the extreme experience of a parent just not being available at all, which creates that full-bodied shame of I'm not worthy of anyone's love and I have to care for myself. And that's that avoidant attachment style. And those people out there who had a strong attachment bond to their parents, whether that was, healthy upbringing, parents that helped them feel safe and seen and secure, they were blessed to have been brought up with a very healthy attachment style and a secure attachment style. But that doesn't mean that they were not vulnerable to shame. Shame is a human condition, but it does originate with what our attachment bond may be towards our parents or caregivers. And the more insecure the attachment style, the deeper the wound of shame may dwell. The stronger the attachment style as a child, the more secure we are, the more flexible we are to self-soothe in the moments of shame, and the more resilient we could be. Now, shame runs the show. So many of our protection mechanisms like addiction or controlling or workaholism or fighting back or blaming and shaming others are all forms of protection. And those protector parts, as we talk about in internal family systems therapy, those protector parts of us are really protecting us from feeling the impermissible shame that lives underneath them. And so we build up these very extreme patterns, like I said, addiction and work and whatever it is that we do to numb the suffering of that impermissible shame. So the work is not to go straight to the shame. That actually takes a while. That's a gentle process. But to first just notice the ways you're trying to protect against it and to become curious about the ways that you're trying to protect against it and to give those parts of you some permission to relax and do some of these soothing tools that I gave you tonight to settle your system. The more grounded and settled you get, the more safe you become in your internal system. And the safer you feel and the more connected to your own ability to self-soothe, the closer you will get to a grounded place of safety that you can do deeper work therapeutically to touch into that shame. And does it have to be done with therapy? Not necessarily, but I do believe touching into shame is such an extreme, impermissible, exiled part of who we are that having that therapeutic support is just necessary, I think. And for those individuals who don't have that resource, then definitely listen to podcasts like mine, Dear Gabby, listen to Brene Brown, find free resources like you're getting here at Guidely. Just use what you've got, but don't rip off the Band-Aid to the shame too soon. Because what happens is we have many different shame responses. So what will happen is if we feel shame, then we may shame and blame others because we want to deflect that shame. We don't want to feel it, so we send it out. Another response to shame is to just really take it on and just go so inward with it and to attack ourselves. And then another form of shame response is to completely dissociate, just check out completely.
Right.
And then, of course, addiction and other ways to numb it out.
Right. That's profound. So subtle and so profound. Thank you. So before we open it to questions, I want to share something that I meant to share earlier and I forgot. And I invite people to put their hands up if you want to ask a question. And I do have one more question, but I want to share, we bought 4 tickets to your event in New York. And we're going to give 2 tickets tonight, and one of the participants will submit a form here later, and you can fill it
Yay.
out, and you can win 2 tickets. I think it's like 4th or 7th row, dead center.
Yeah, hot
So
tickets.
hot tickets, and then 2 other tickets will be given in the integration session with Rebecca Preffen, who will present here in a second. So last question before I open it up to people who do want to work tonight with you and have that rare opportunity. What are you working on? What do you still, with all the work you've done, with all the journey and methods that you share in this incredible book, what do you still work on? What do you find?
Oh, I have a lot of personal growth and development I'm still working on, my friend. I'm working on it in my dreams. I'm working on it while literally I'm working on it while I sleep. I've got a lot of unresolved PTSD, and I'm still chipping away at it. It's a journey. And while I feel really safe in my body and in my life, there is this sort of, I guess I would describe it like a live wire that's still sort of under the surface that is just not fully processed memories that I don't necessarily believe I have to fully retrieve, but there's resolutions that are required, and just a deepening of that connection to that exiled part, the child part that was abused. And all the work I've done to here has given me the safe baseline so that I can go there. And so
You're so courageous.
it's so much courage. It's such courage. Courage is the word.
Yeah. And self-compassion and commitment. So I adore you for that. What's the next book before we open it up?
I'm selling a book right now called, well, I don't know if I can give you the title because I don't know if it'll stay that way, but it's about internal family systems therapy, and it's making it easy for people to apply. We did a little bit of it tonight in different ways, but it's about connecting to those different parts of who we are and bringing ourself, our soul, our undamaged, resourced self to the internal system, and knowing that we can rely on that energy that is in us, that self energy of compassion and courage and calm and creativity and commitment. And so I'm going to take this very big body of work that was channeled and created by my very dear friend, Dick Schwartz, who I admire, much like you, Amir. When I met Dick, I was like, we're brothers. You're my brother. I felt like that with you too. It's really lucky I get to meet all these incredible people. And so I'm committed to Dick and to his work, to making it really accessible and democratizing that work to allow people all throughout the world to receive it, even if they're not in therapy with it.
An incredible book, by the way. I love it. I really incredible book.
You love IFS, yeah.
Yeah,
I know, it's really profound.
You got me on it. I've done parts work, but in different settings. This is very different, very profound. I love it. So I want to be respectful of time, and we're not going to take more questions with Gabby, but those of you who do want to stay with us will stay a little longer. I want to tell you, one of my insights from your book is, I think one of the spiritual lessons is really listen to your tape again and again and again. That in it by itself is a spiritual practice, because you didn't switch to a different channel. You stayed on that channel until it landed. And I think that's, to me, a huge lesson. Even in that moment of such struggle, being able to stay on that station is profound.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for seeing me, Amir. I love you. Thank you.
I love you. And thank you so much for your generosity and wisdom and sharing yourself so beautifully and vulnerably with us tonight, and in general with all the work you do in the world. So thanks for being late with us.
I love you guys.
Thank
you. There's nowhere I would rather be other than, cuddled in my bed, but I'm so happy to be here tonight. I'm so happy. Nice way to go to bed. Thank you guys. I love you.
Thanks, Debbie. So I wanna real quick maybe put up a quick slide with both the form, those of you who wants to participate in the raffle, to have 2 tickets for the live event that Gabby does in New York. Feel free to submit the forms. There is a barcode you can use, I started with the second slide. We'll go back to the first slide later. Sorry about that. So scan the code, fill out the form. If you want to be matched with one of our guides, feel free to text happy to our number 1-888-506-6432. And we have a limited time offer, $19 for our matching session with our resident guide, Chandel, who is here with us. And we have 2 integration sessions where we will take the highlights of this workshop and we will integrate them. And I think Rebecca is here. We did not plan for that, but can we spotlight you for a second and maybe talk for a minute about what's going to happen? And if somebody have a question that they do want to pose here while we're here, maybe we'll take 1 or 2 questions. I'm happy to do that. Hello, my dear.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh.
So Rebecca is one of, I think, our guide from day one, and is doing phenomenal work with people in our community, and was here and spent a decent amount of time with Gabby when she was in town, and participated in her workshop. And you'll be doing 2 integration sessions.
Yes, I'm so excited and honored that you asked me. So thank you for that. It was really wonderful to meet Gabby with you a couple of weeks ago. It really gave me an opportunity to see this real human being that is incredibly down to earth, which you don't always receive when you meet, people like Gabby, if you will. So that was really wonderful. And the tools that she gave tonight were different than the tools that she gave the evening that she spoke. So it's really wonderful. I'm excited to take the tools that she shared tonight, honoring the anxiety and the tapping and the breathing. Those are things that we'll be able to take into the integration session. And go a little bit deeper, and anyone that may need some help with recognizing what the issue is within them and maybe giving a voice to it, we may have some time to work on that as well.
That's so exciting. I look forward to that. For one, every session that I've had with you
Thank you.
So you're in for a treat, I promise. So are there any questions by anybody else here tonight? Do we have clarity on how to participate in the raffle? During the integration session, we'll also do the same thing. We have 2 more tickets that will raffle. I think in the email we sent tonight, there is a worksheet that Gabby shared with us that was sent to you. So if there are any questions, we're happy to answer some questions tonight. And by the way, those of you who are new to Guidely is the home for personal development and spiritual growth. We have a community. You're welcome to join. The community is free. And we also have, we provide matching with guides, which are mentors, coaches, healers, therapists in a variety of topics that helps individuals on their spiritual journey. I'm so excited. Wasn't it wonderful? Isn't she amazing?
She's amazing.
Right?
She's amazing.
She really is. And she really lives that. It's so beautiful to see. And, even her answer about what is she still working on? It's like, we continue to peel the onion. There is we talked about it earlier. There is no real destination or we're done. And it's beautiful. And she, I can testify. I've seen her and I've talked to many. I mean, she's really
right.
Unique, a living proof of a transformation.
Well, and I love the transparency.
Yeah.
Because the work never ends, and she's open to sharing that and saying that, what, she's working on herself every single day.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing to be able to say.
Absolutely. And don't we all? So at the end of every session, we unmute, we turn on cameras, those of you who are comfortable, and say all good night and thank you for being with us. Stay connected with Godly.